You're live, huh?
Oh. Hi, guys. T-townMaryEllen here. Thanks for joining. And those who are watching the preview later, thank you for joining then. Mike from Our Theme Life and Jen were supposed to be on this live stream, but Mike and Dylan got food poisoning or something from a wedding last night, so they aren't able to join, but Mike gave me a list of questions, so he's here in spirit. And Nancy says hi.
Oh, hey, Nancy.
I'm here with Charlie O'Brien, and we're talking about his life in Major League Baseball. A little history of Charles and I. Hey, Rob. Thanks for joining. Charles, I've known Charles since, poor Mike.
Yeah, we know Mike, it wasn't food poisoning. We know what it was. We've been to those weddings.
I've known Charles since he was in first grade. We were in first grade together, and so I know Charles more on a personal level. So when I got Mike into the hey, works hard. Aren't you still in Disney World? That's nice of you to join. We go so far back. I know him very well personally, but baseball wise, Mike is a super fan of the Braves, and Charles played on the World Series winning Braves team in 1995.
Yes, ma'am.
1995. So he was going to, have so much fun. That's so nice of you to pop in. Hey, Mike and Jen, Our Themed Life, guys. He helped me with questions. Almost everybody in here is a moth. So that's the history of Charles and I. We go way back, and further back. Oh, hi, Brian.
Yeah, Papa B's in the house. Shout out to Mr. Begnell, Coach Begnell.
Coach Begnell.
My hero.
So, that's great.
Yes.
So Mike helped me with the questions. So there's a lot of questions, but feel free for anybody in chat to ask any questions, and we'll get to those along the way. Also, I want to explain for those who are new to my channel why I called T-townMaryEllen. T-town is a double meaning. T-town meaning Tulsa. That's what we call Tulsa, T-town. And T-town as in Toontown. So I cover both Oklahoma and Disney related things. So I just wanted to clear that up. Okay. Katie said that you're in charge.
Katie's seen you work, obviously.
You really think Charles is in charge?
Yeah.
Is that a joke on that show that you used to be? Nancy wants to know, who was your favorite team that you played for?
My favorite team probably was Atlanta, by far. Probably just because the camaraderie of all the guys and stuff, and they got along really well, and just real good group of guys. There wasn't a guy that was really, a jerk for the most part. They're all good guys to play with, and always had a relationship with almost every one of them. And Bobby Cox being a manager helped, do things the way he ran things is definitely a little different than most places that I've been.
So that was that one. Mike says, so sorry I couldn't make it on the actual hangout. I look like death and have been sick since last night.
One too many brewskis.
How's Dylan feeling, Mike? Oh, thank you so much, worked hard. I can't even believe that you even came into the stream. Have fun, and I want to see some vlogs or pics or something from Disney World. Mike said, I wasn't expecting Charlie to be right there with you. So awesome. Oh. Where'd you think he was going to be, Mike? Charles doesn't know how to work a computer, so I couldn't have brought him in to the stream. Hey, Jen, I wish you could have been on the stream, but I understand you got to take care of Mike and Dylan. That must be a chore. Yes, Charles also runs a ranch, and so every day, and he needs to slow down just a little bit, but he won't. Dylan is better. He's not 100% but getting better. That's great. I'm glad. That has to be miserable. But Katie wants to know if she could come over. No.
Why not?
Why?
Katie's entertainment.
What am I?
Entertainment. But all the Clarks Arps are entertainment.
Yeah, in their own different way.
Yes, very different. Every one of them, but very entertaining for sure.
Jen says, 2 sickies. I'm doing all I can do not to get it. I bet so, Jen. I'm so sorry. It may not have been food poisoning, Mike. Are there snacks? No. Oh, I was going to get you some water though.
That's all right.
Do you want some water?
No, I'm good. Fine,
okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I should have done that. I was preoccupied. Okay. Although one is much better. Hey, Lisa Grossman.
Hey, see, Begnell will bring the beer. Let him come over. We'll have a party.
Well.
And we'll be like Mike tomorrow. Not sure. Say you got food poisoning. How convenient.
Katie said Smirnoffs. Okay, so in honor of Mike, please go subscribe to Our Theme Live. He was awesome. He came up with some awesome questions. He's, like I said, a brave super fan and has some awesome questions for Charles to answer. And then I've got a few that, yes, see, Jen said we were at a wedding yesterday. Charles guessed it. Although Dylan didn't drink, so, I mean, he can't really.
That they know of.
He's 4.
Yeah. So what do you mean? They sneak around, do all sorts of stuff.
Okay. So here's Mike's first question. Describe the clubhouse chemistry with the 1995 World Series team.
Well, I mean, it was a lot like I talked about earlier being one of my favorite teams. A lot of the guys did a lot of the same kind of things. They hung out with each other. They had a lot of fun. They spent a lot of time together, after games, before games, and just really got around. Probably the best camaraderie of any of the teams that I played on, the 8 different teams I played on. So, it was a lot of fun. They expected you to play the game the right way. And there was a group of really mature players and guys that you didn't have to babysit, and they knew their roles and they knew what to do when to go out there. So, and plus, not missing the end of '94, being a chance to play in the playoffs there. I think the guys were hungry and hadn't, from '91 on, I think they'd been in the playoffs and hadn't won. So, it was one of those things that they'd gotten there but hadn't, raised the championship trophy. And I think that's what everybody wanted to do.
Nancy, who was your V? What's a V? Who was your V? Okay. Sooner Girl just put in the website to order a signed copy of Charles's book. It's called Charlie O'Brien, Cy Young Catcher.
No, it's not. Oh,
sorry.
Just show them and they can see
it's right here. This is his book, The Cy Young Catcher. And you can go to the site that Sooner Girl just posted to order a signed copy from Charles himself. That's Charles's website, and you can do that.
They're like $29.99 for signed copies.
You could get early Christmas presents for your.
But it's interesting.
Whomever. It's very interesting.
It's a book about a relationship between catchers and pitchers, and what kind of those 13 guys that we talked about in this book. There's each one. It's a chapter on each one, and they talk about some of the things that those guys did to get ready to pitch and play, and how they performed, and some of the little games that go inside a game. So they're just it's nothing life changing as far as anything hidden, but it's a good fun. It reads fast, and it's a good baseball book for people who want to understand the relationship between the two.
Yeah, we got one for my dad, and he enjoyed it thoroughly before he died.
Why'd we have to throw that in?
I don't know. I don't know. So Meg, I answered your question. Nancy's question is, who was your favorite player you played with? That's kind of
No, that's a good one because there's certain guys like Dan Plesac, who's on the MLB Network now, who does is a a spokesperson there or whatever, the commentator or broadcaster or whatever. But I played with him longer than anybody, and we just had a good relationship. Pat Henkin, I spent a lot of time with now. Just talked to him today. Mark Lemke, is another guy I played with Atlanta. Roger Clemens, we go do stuff together. So those are the guys that, most all the guys I really hang out with are pitchers because that's, I had a good relationship with all those guys. And those were kind of my best friends when I played because, you have to get in each one's head. And so you spend a lot of time with them. You're with pitchers every day. And that's how you build up a relationship that I had with those guys. It's just by, being a good teammate and just doing a lot of stuff with them.
Good day, Laurel. What time is it in Australia right now? It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Mike from Our Theme Life wants to know, what's the story behind the picture on the front cover of your book? I imagine Charlie was getting acquainted with the home plate.
Yeah, umpire. We just met. Actually, he was a AAA umpire at that time. They bring him up. What happens is when they start vacation, and like after the first month, they bring guys up from AAA to take the umpire spot that goes on vacation. I just happened to get a lucky chance to get that guy right there. He's the only guy ever. That's the only game I ever got thrown out in the big leagues was with that guy there, and I wasn't even talking with him. That part of the story is in the book, but for guys who are not going to get the book, it was one of those deals that. I was talking to my pitcher and never said a word to him about anything. And I said, all right, Huck, the first pitch was a strike and he called it a ball. And I just threw the ball back to the pitcher and said, all right, Huck, we'll beat them all today. And he said, hey, one more word out of you, you're gone. I said, hey, wasn't even talking to you. And then he threw me out. But anyway, Bob Watson was the guy that was a National League guy who did all the fines and stuff like that. And so you're supposed to get fined like $100, and he sent me a letter, and I know Bobby was my hitting instructor in Oakland when I was up there. And anyway, he said, if you have any problems or disagreements, call. So I called and got him on the line and told him what happened. And he said, yeah, you're right. Everything happened just like you said, but you didn't have to call him the things you called him once he threw you out of the game. I said, well, I wouldn't have to call him that if I didn't get thrown out of the game. So anyway, we kind of laughed about it, and he actually talked to the umpire, and he said, your story was exactly the same as, you're honest, but you're still gonna. We'll get together. Don't pay the fine. We'll just go on. I said I got on him, and he understands now, how to be professional about it, and it's true. I probably shouldn't have said that, but also that didn't warrant. I said way worse things umpires than that, and still played in the game. So, we'll go on and just live and learn for both of us, I guess.
Is that the same umpire the one on Sports Illustrated was you?
That was
hitting a guy.
Well, that just happens sometimes when a guy.
Charles was on Sports Illustrated for probably.
Punching. Well, the sad thing was I just protected John Smoltz hit John Cangelosi. The guy before him hit a grand slam. He was mad and upset, and Cangelosi had a good beef. I mean, he got hit square in the back. And so he runs out to the mound, and I've got to protect my pitcher. So I just got a couple blows in there, and good things. He was all right. He could play 2 or 3 days later. He couldn't play the next day because his eye was swollen shut. But I mean that happens. But the funny thing was, I went to St. Pius, which is a little Catholic school that my kids go to. They were at school at the time, and they had the weekly reader. We always had the weekly reader would come out once a month. Well, it had a picture on there of me punching John, and it said, enough already, violence in sports. And it was supposed to go out to all the kids, supposed to get a copy of it. And so they called Tracy, my wife, and asked her, said, do you think we ought to, pass these out with your kids and stuff? And she said, no, just kind of put those away and just say you got them lost. So that's kind of how that story was. But it wasn't the example that you want to set for your young children. And that's I'm glad they didn't show it to them.
No.
But hey, good teammate, just protected my teammate. Smoltz was not a fighter, so he's a lover. So there's no way I had to take care of the guy for him.
All pitchers are lovers.
No, they're not.
Okay, Katie's making fun of you and said you were only thrown out once.
Like I said, I said a lot worse things than that to the umpires and still played. But there's a respect thing. You do things the right way and you don't show them up. And there's protocols to how to argue with an umpire. And I learned that a long time ago. So I did a very good job. I was one of the more vocal catchers as far as getting on umpires. And the pitchers, that's what the pitchers love, because they didn't have to argue, because I had to do it all. They let me do it all because I probably could piss them off way more, the way I did it than how they did it. So it was all good.
It's 9:13 a.m. in Australia. Thank you so much for Laurel for watching. It's early for you. Thank you, Leanne. Be sure to share out the stream, like, subscribe, all those good things. And please subscribe to Our Thing Live. Mike says, Charlie, game 3 of 95 NLCS, you're facing a young David Wells. You come through in the clutch with a home run. Describe the at-bat.
Well, David Wells, I think might be the same age I was. So he wasn't that young. But anyway, it was just the time the game was tied. I think it was either 1-1 or nothing to nothing. I think it was 1-1. And I got a hit off him in the previous at bat, and I knew he likes to pitch inside a lot. So I was just looking for a fastball inside, and he threw a good pitch to hit, and I hit it out, and put us ahead 4-1, and really sent us on our way to clinching that NLCS. So it was a big moment. It was probably one of my favorite at bats, and just run around the bases and hear it. I mean, you couldn't even actually hear it because it's so loud. And my family is all there, so it was a neat thing for me to be able to experience that. You experience it as a little kid, in your mind, and it's actually probably better doing it live than it was as your playtime, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. So Nancy wants to know, what's the best advice for parents of young players?
Let them play. I mean, don't make them play. Let them play. Let them play as many sports as they can. I think what's happening now is just people are running ragged, their kids to death, playing them year round. These kids, they're little kids, and let them enjoy the game instead of making them enjoy the game. That's the problem nowadays, is that people, just parents all expect their kids to play in the big leagues. It's not going to happen. The kids have got to do it on their own. You can't make it. You can't make them any better. And that's the sad thing about it. Us as parents kind of want your kids to do well, but the kids have to want to do well to do it. So just let them play and enjoy what they're doing, and don't force them. And a lot of times, and when they do that, your kids they'll work harder at it.
Brian says amen. Thanks, Brian. Mike says that Homer is on YouTube. You turned on that ball for sure.
Oh, well, that's the only thing I could do, turn on a fastball inside. That was what I was good at. So he was a good guy to do it with.
Thanks, Laurel. Nancy said thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mike has another question. Being Greg Maddux's personal catcher, can you describe the pregame routines you went through with Greg and his mindset before every start?
Probably the most unique pitcher of all time to me, because he was so precise and a perfectionist. I mean, his warm-ups were all the same. He always did the same thing every time he went out there. And, if he did his, 50 pitch warm-up, so I don't know exactly what it was, but if he threw 2 balls, it was amazing. And when he did, he screamed out like a little kid, like, he just shot his best friend or something. And he just holler, and the words weren't very clean, but it was one of those deals that he was so focused in what he was doing, and he just missed his spot, and he would just drop the F or S, one or two words, but they were loud. But he didn't hear it very often because he didn't miss his spot very often, and he was so focused, and he knew exactly what he was going to do and how to do it. So that was the unique thing about him, is no one exercised the game plan probably better than he did.
Okay. Number 3, at what point during the 1995 season did you realize the Braves team was something special?
Well, if it's something special, in '94, I thought we had a very good team. It was special. So, the thing about the game, you grind away and play every day. But I just knew going into it that you had that pitching staff, and Fred McGriff and David Justice and those kind of guys. Young Chipper Jones and Javi Lopez coming into his own at that time, and Kolesko. I mean, you had all the pieces. There's no doubt. Everyone knew that. But the game, you get there so many times, like they have gotten there so many times and only won one. A lot of times, it's just one or two plays that's going to cost you. And fortunately, in '95, we won the whole thing. So in '96, they should have won, but they made a bad pitch to Larich, and he hit a 2-run homer, I think, in the 9th inning, and gave them the win on that one when they were behind. So, if they win that game, they go up 3 games to nothing. They're not going to get beat 4 times in a row. So it was just unique. There's just little plays like here and there. And fortunately, that year in '95, everything kind of came together and we made it work.
Mike said sometimes you'd actually hear those choice words from Greg during a TBS broadcast.
Yes, there's no sometimes. It was always at least once or twice a game. You were going to hear him drop the F-bomb on a pitch that he didn't execute. He was so much fun to catch. I mean, to me, he probably is one of the greatest pitchers, 5 of all time. Just the stuff he did and what he could make a ball do and how he went about it. Man, he was a lot of fun just to be around and watch.
Do you ever talk to him?
On occasions, yeah. Like we'll go back to Atlanta and do stuff there, or I'll see him, hear about him being somewhere, and I'll text him or something like that. But he's always he's the same person. He's the guy that didn't like the limelight, just wanted to pitch and do his thing and go home. And very few guys of that stature have that kind of attitude. He just wanted to put his glasses on and go hide, after a game, and he'd give the credit to all the guys all the time, all the guys behind him and that kind of thing. So he understood the nuances of pitching, and he understood how to make it work, and didn't like the limelight. Just definitely wanted to go do his own thing afterwards. So he was very unique for sure.
That's cool. Mike said Greg has arguably the best cutter of all time.
No doubt. And the thing about that, I mean, people don't understand what a cutter is. It looks like it's a fastball, and it kind of cuts away from you at the very end. And what it almost has a sail effect. His ball would move the last 5 feet more than any ball that I ever caught. I mean, I've caught a lot of balls, and his cutter would make that late movement, what they call, and it looks like a fastball. It looked like it's going to be in one spot, and they swing. And it hit a lot of balls off the end of the bat. I mean, he won the Gold Glove, I don't know how many years in a row, but I mean, half the balls hit back to him. He could have ran in and picked up with barehanded. So, but that just shows you the movement. The ball gets off the end of the bat and doesn't go anywhere, and that's what he was great at doing. Is staying out of the sweet spot of the bat for sure.
Okay, Tom's on here now. My brother Tom. He wants to know, what was your favorite sport growing up? Because Charles played basketball.
Basketball's so much easier to play. I love playing basketball. I mean, people don't understand how hard baseball is to play. It's way, way worse than any game. Mentally, you have to be you got to mentally grind away and fail. You fail all the time, and you got to get back up, and you got to play a bad game, and you got to get back and play the next day. The neat thing about baseball is you play so many games, and that helps you kind of get away from being down so much, because you got to get back and go again the next day. So, basketball is way, way easier to play. I enjoy playing basketball, and you have the ball and you can control it. Where you're hitting in baseball, they got the ball and they can kind of dictate, how you play. So I'd much rather be playing basketball.
Okay. On a personal note, Nancy says that she wants to thank you for the respect you gave Dad, and he loved you, and she thanks you.
Well, I mean, I knew Mr. Arp when I was a little kid, and he scared the fire out of me. So I didn't. Hey, whatever he said, I was going to do. So he told me, "Hey, stay away from my daughter." I said, "Oh, there ain't no problem there."
Ouch!
But no, he was as the Art family knows, he's a special person, and being there not too long after, before he died, and he got a chance to see him and talk to him, and just say thanks, for all the support, because he was at all those basketball, baseball games, and he is part of a group like Mr. Scalette and then Ormsby and Gormley's and those people that are the foundation that, I grew up on. And he was one of those pillars that was always there when we played. And, it was always kind of fun to see those guys and come back after you're done playing and those guys are still there. And so, I was blessed to have those kind of people around me all my life.
Leanne asked how long we've known each other. She must have missed the very first part. You're probably trying to find my stream because I tried to start it 3 times. We've known each other since first grade.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's like one of my best guy friends.
Yeah. See? Simple.
I'm not sure what to say. We were boyfriend and girlfriend in 6th grade.
Was it 6th grade or 5th grade?
It was 6th grade. Does
I think it was 5th grade, but
maybe it spilled over to 6th grade.
No, it didn't. You nixed me. Your dad kind of said, "No, get that dude out of here." And that was the end of it.
A little history.
Yes,
we won't go there. Yeah, sorry, Leanne. I tried to go on Streamlabs and it didn't work. So I went on Google. So Mike wants to know, what was your fondest big league memory?
Probably playing in a World Series, winning a World Series in '95, and just seeing. The neat thing was my family actually was in the clubhouse before I was, so that they got to experience all the champagne. And actually, my uncle John was passing out the champagne at the door when up the tunnel, and he's giving out the champagne when we got here. And my mom and dad, my whole family, my brother John and Tom, and it was crazy in the locker room, and it was be able to share that. I don't think people understand that. I didn't know it was going to be like that, to have your family there too. And to me, that was worth, everything that I've ever worked for, to see them, enjoy the same thing that I did. It was definitely an experience that it was very special. I remember going home and Cameron, my youngest son, was 3 years old. And he said, "Daddy, can we do that again tomorrow?" He's ready to do it again tomorrow. So.
Let's win another World Series tomorrow.
They don't think they understand how hard it is to do.
They do now.
Yeah, they definitely do now.
Yes, they do. Laurel said that we sound like a married couple.
Oh, my goodness.
If you only heard our conversations some days. Yeah. You're right. But he's happily married and has 4 children. No, I haven't gotten to that yet. I'll skip to, what, didn't he have one about the mask?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
The end, I think.
So
what he wanted to know, Mary having a tough time with that question was,
no,
did we go through a lot of different people trying to find that mask, or this is the original one? This is the first one that I wore. That it was a fiasco trying to get this thing done. There's actually 3 different mask people that were doing it. This is actually Van Velden, Jerry Van Velden's mask company. Eric Niskanen was another one that was involved in it. And the neat thing is, if you can show this, if you can show the batter, show the eyes of my Blue Jay. If you look real close, I don't know if you can see it. The reflection is a MLB guy hitting.
Oh.
If you can see it up close, if I can get it out of the light, if you can see the reflection in his eyes.
Oh, how cool.
So it's just kind of neat. It was done by, I don't know actually who did the painting of it, but it's pretty neat. But anyway, it took 3 different companies. I went through some tests with all three companies and came up with that idea. And that was by far the best mask. And the funny thing, once I used that in '96, I played, I've actually 5 more years. And that I never, not one time did I ever get my bell rung like I did wearing a conventional catcher's mask. So that definitely saved my brains. I don't think I have to worry about, having that, whatever that is, like the football players have. But a lot of concussions, because a lot of baseball players are going to find out they're going to run into the same problem, those catchers, that some of those football players. Because I'm telling you, I've had my share of them too. So,
Mike, weren't you saying Yachty still wears the old catcher's mask?
No, he wears mine. He wears the same
he does?
one. Yeah.
Who was that, Mike, that you said was wearing the old mask, and you wanted to tease him about it or ask him about it? So with the Blue Jay on it, was this when you were with the Blue Jays?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's 96 when I came out and used that.
Charles didn't just play for the Braves; he played for
8 different
Milwaukee
teams, yeah.
and the Mets and
Oakland,
and
the White Sox, Anaheim, Montreal.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's 8 different ones, but that was probably the best organization. I think Toronto probably was the best run organization to play with. I know he had something about that, but of all the 8 teams, I mean, that was a very good. I really enjoyed my time in Toronto. We didn't have the greatest team, but I got a chance to catch Pat Henkin in 90 and 96, and then 97. I got a chance to be with Roger Clemens. So I mean, he won a Cy Young there. So I mean, I actually got a chance to catch 4 of them in a row with Maddux twice, and then Henkin, and then Roger Clemens. So very lucky, very blessed.
Charles is the one. Like, I don't know if you really caught that, but he's the one who invented that or prototyped that, and so basically everybody wears that today, right?
Yeah, quite a few of them. Not everybody, but if they want to stay safe, you wear that one. Yeah. Some guys want to get beat up, so they're not smart enough to go to that one. Because there's some disadvantage, heavier, and probably it's a lot harder. There's some disadvantages, but I mean, when you talk about saving your brain, I don't care what it does. It's like, just as long as you can do it.
Right.
So keep your kids safe.
So, hey, Leanne, would you post the website to order a signed edition? You could get early Christmas presents of Yachty. Yeah, see, he said Yachty wears he wears the new one now. Okay. He wore the old one for a number of years because before he converted to the new one. Don't run on Yachty.
Yeah, one of the best. He's definitely one of the best that been out there for a while. His brother Benji he came up when actually they released me and brought up Benji in Anaheim, and he asked a lot of questions, really wanted to learn, and I worked a lot with him, and it's a good family. There's another one that played in the big leagues. I mean, they're just good people, and so he got to play with a great organization in St. Louis, and he's taken total advantage of it. And really, to me, he's still the premier catcher in the big leagues. He doesn't throw like he used to, but that's okay. I mean, he's the guy that I'd want to lean my staff with by far.
And I don't, for most of everybody that's in chat right now, they know this because they know Dallas, but Dallas Keuchel has recently gone with the Braves, and Dallas comes from the same little Catholic school that Charles and I went to, and high school,
the parents.
And we went to school with their parents and played ball. I played softball with the mom. And did you play baseball with Dennis?
Dennis, yeah, he was there.
So he played baseball with Dallas's dad. I played softball with Dallas's mom.
I took him to Anaheim when he was 14 years old. He went down the dugout and he got to meet all the guys in the clubhouse and stuff. So, he was a kid that I thought was going to be very successful. Everyone was always talking about what he didn't ever throw hard enough. But the thing about it is he competes, man. He knows how to pitch and knows how to compete. And those 2 words, pitching and competing, they go hand in hand if you want to be successful. And he's one of those guys that's going to be successful.
So I think that's kind of awesome that Dallas plays there now, and that's who Charles played with on the World Series team. Tom wants to know about Bobby Cox. So this is the question for Bobby Cox. It's always been said that one of the things that made playing for Bobby Cox great was that he was a player's manager. He stuck up for his players, whether they were right or wrong. Can you speak to that and tell us your experience with playing for Bobby?
Probably, Dallas Green up to that point was my favorite manager, but because Dallas gave me an opportunity to face left-handers, bat second in the lineup where no one ever said I could hit, and got a chance to do really well in New York that last year when he came in. He called me in. He came in at All-Star break, called me in and said, "Hey, Vince Coleman's going to lead off. I'm going to bat you second against all left-handed pitchers." He said, "Don't worry about taking pitches," because they said the way you hit the fastball, he said, "Hit it." And he said, "Don't wait for it." And I hit over 300 the second half of the season and got a chance to be a free agent after that year. And he wanted me to come back, but I always wanted to play for Atlanta because I love playing there. The city and the fans and the team that I always liked Bobby Cox. So then once I got there, boy, you see why they were successful, because he had a way. You had to stay within the rules. I mean, he's definitely old school. He wore his cleats out there even as a manager. And I mean, he didn't like we couldn't wear the Oakleys. We always had to have a hat on. Didn't get to wear a short. I mean, we were always unied up everywhere, just old school as could be. And it taught you how to be ready to play the game because he said he was a player's manager, but you better do it his way or he got rid of you. It was pretty simple. And people came in there, understood that might have been a little on the wild side, like Sheffield. When he came in there, he was great because he knew Bobby wasn't going to put up with it. So it's one of those things that, everyone knew he had everybody's respect to start with. And on top of that, he just, he put you in spots that no one else except Dallas Green ever put me. He gave me a chance to pinch hit. He gave me a chance to do some things that a lot of teams that I always thought I could do and never had an opportunity to do them. And so he just made me a better player by giving me the confidence to go out there and perform. And people don't know he's had a stroke, and we're saying our prayers because that's such a horrible thing to go through. But man, you're talking about a person that's changed a lot of people's lives by how he treated you. So I'm wishing Bobby the best, and hopefully we can have him back to normal again for a while.
That's nice. Okay, for the Tulsa folks, they want to know who your favorite coach was at Bishop Kelly.
Favorite coach? Man, that's a tough one. Benigno was so different than everybody else. I mean, I didn't say he's my favorite. I like Coach Hayes. I mean, my basketball coach. I like him. I like Coach Lowry. Two different kind of coaches. One was stern. The other one was kind of laid back. But I like being around both of them. They were probably my favorite too. Coach Lowry was a good person that I really enjoyed after I got done playing because he would come around. He'd bring some of the guys and they'd come up to see me play wherever I was at. So I always enjoyed visiting him, and he's passed away. God rest his soul. And we've lost a lot of good people. Coach Hayes has passed on, and man, it's hell to get old. I can tell you that. I mean, a lot of people that
we're not old, Charles.
I know, but there's a lot of people that have been very influential in my life is kind of passing on. So it's tough to get old for sure.
Mike says, I was so stoked when the Braves signed Dallas. He's not going to light up the radar gun, but he hits his spots, changes speeds, and knows how to get out of a jam. 87 to 90 mile per hour fastball tops.
He competes. I mean, he competes like hell. I mean, that's the best thing you can say about any pitcher because he doesn't give in. A lot like Tommy Glavine. Tommy Glavine never threw that hard. Never threw. He threw 90, maybe 1 year. And most of the time he's 87, 88, 85. And he competes, got huge pelotas. He just went out there and, didn't give in and just did what he did best. And, the rest is history. Both of them, I mean, won 300 games. Maddux didn't light up the radar gun either.
But was Roger your fastest pitcher?
Probably starting pitchers, one of them. Yeah. I mean, he was dominating in a whole different respect. People ask me which one's better. And I said, it just depends how you want to get beat. You want to get beat giving up 1 or 2 hits and punching out 5 guys, or going out there and giving up 1 or 2 hits and getting punched out 10 times because because he threw so much harder. So it just depends on how you want to get it. They're both going to beat you. They're both going to beat you in the result. You look them out, they're going to be about the same, but Clemens have more strikeouts, but they're not going to walk anybody, and they're not going to give up a whole lot of damage.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Katie wants to know, in your opinion, the best player you played against.
Best pet player is probably Barry Bonds. Get to watch player. He's phenomenal to me. I mean, there's nothing he couldn't do. He wasn't a very good thrower, but he made up by charging the ball. He just knew how to pitch. I mean, knew how to hit, knew what was coming. And the best pitcher is probably, I'd say, a tie between Clemens and Maddux. Just take your choice and how you want to get beat. But those are the guys that are the best ones that hitting wise, there's no one better than Barry Bonds.
And who was the best team you played against? But
that's hard. There's a bunch
range.
Well,
depending on which team you were on. Great question, Tom. But
I don't know. I don't think I could pick just one. There's so many.
What are some of the best teams you played
against?
Well,
Cincinnati was always, when they won in whatever that was, 90 or 90, with Norm Charlton and Myers, those are closers. Those guys, man, Oakland had their good teams in the early back there in the '90s too. The two real dominant teams that went out there and won a bunch of baseball games. But the Reds team, I really enjoyed playing against because they were good. It was a good baseball team. So them and Oakland and Toronto had those good teams too in the early '90s too, right? But with them, so I mean, it's hard to say. Look at all the Hall of Famers come off the Toronto deal.
Hi, JT. I'm sorry. It was JT talking. Jake, Tom's son.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Hi, JT. One before I ask yours, Leanne. Let me ask this one. Tell us about the moment you got called up to the big leagues. Where were you, and who was the first person you told?
I was in Huntsville, Alabama in '85, and my manager called me in the office and said, "You're going up to play, and they need you up there in Oakland because one of the catchers got hurt." And first one I called was my mom and dad. Naturally that was big day for me. And man, it was a lot of fun. I mean, just to get there and go through that and get your name on the back for the first time. That back then you only got it in the big leagues, but now hell, these little kids have them on their backs, but in Little League. But we never had that. So getting that and have your name on the back and getting there and actually playing in the big leagues was a very special. It was one of my more special moments as far as being professionally playing the game itself. Because you just finally got there. You didn't get a chance to stay, but at least you know what it was like. They can't ever take that away from you because, like I always say, I played in the big leagues. So it was very unique and very special. And so I called my mom and dad first.
Oh, this is an Oklahoma question. Leanne wants to know, what do you think of Kyler Murray's decision to choose football over Major League Baseball?
He's very intelligent, very smart. I know the money, he's going to make more money. In baseball, he knows. He plays football. He knows football's a lot easier in respect to play what he does. So, he knows baseball was going to take some time, and there was no guarantee that he was actually going to be able to make it there. I mean, talent-wise, obviously he was special, but playing the game of baseball, there is it's a long shot. He's got to spend 3 or 4 years to get in there, hone his craft. In football, he can just pop right in there and do what he does best. And he's a special football player for sure. So hopefully he can stay healthy. That's going to be the big thing, staying healthy and understanding that he's got to keep working and learn the system. But I think you're going to see a lot of good stuff out of him.
Good answer.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about this 2019 Braves team? Are they fun to watch?
Yeah, they got a chance to win it all. I mean, and hopefully Dallas, can get his spring training. What's going to happen with him? And he might scuffle a little bit the first 4 or 5 times, but I think he's going to get better as he goes along. And they've got the talent to win the whole thing. And hopefully, with a little luck, they can do well and get the big hit and make a good pitch when they need to. And they got a chance to go a long way in the playoffs.
Little known fact, all of you people who want him to have a drink, he doesn't drink. So I got him water, and he's happy with water. He likes Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, but I can't drink that much anymore either. So
yeah, no health issues. So
yes,
he drinks water now.
Yeah.
But
and
it's nice that you're wanting me to offer him an alcoholic beverage, but he does not drink. Never has.
That's for Mr. Bagnall. He drinks all my beer.
Yeah, he drinks enough for both of them.
Yes, he does.
So Leanne wants to know, do you know Johnny Ray from Shoto, formerly from the Pittsburgh Pirates? I think he may be around the same age.
Yes, he's a little older and played against him. And I see JR time to time. One of the nicer people you ever meet. To me, he's a very good guy. So I enjoy him. I get a chance to visit with him when I can. And I called him not very long ago, and he's as country as they get. He's another guy didn't like the limelight, but loves to fish and good guy. Very good baseball guy.
Leanne went to school with him.
Very good. How was he at school, Leanne?
Yeah, how was he at school?
Is he quiet? He seemed like a very quiet guy.
Did you know him since first grade? Maybe it's an Oklahoma thing.
Yeah.
Okay, while she's answering, What's one thing that you noticed about the game today that was totally different when you were playing? Do you agree or disagree with the changes to the game over the years?
Disagree totally, 100%. Don't like it. I mean, the catchers, not getting a chance to block home plate, the collisions at home, break up a double play. That was all the little things you had to do to be a winner. Be able to break up a double play and not have to worry about, now you don't have to worry about it. You can't go down there. You can't break it up. And then, a lot of we won a playoff game in Colorado with me knocking the guy out of the way and throwing the ball in the dugout, and a run scored, and ended up winning a playoff game because of that. Because going down there and running hard and breaking up the double play. But now, I mean, I'd have been called out, have been on a double play, and a run wouldn't have scored. So, the game's definitely changed it for the best. I don't know. I wouldn't say it for the best, but it keeps guys healthier, I guess. But those collisions in part, it's just part of the game that I miss seeing happen.
Well, and that's another question was you gave advice for young players these days, but what about young catchers who want to go play in the big leagues?
Well, you got to be a leader. You've got to do little things to win the confidence. You got to get to know your pitcher, get to know what his strengths are, and don't put him in a situation where don't ask him to do things he's not very good at. So you got to understand what his strengths and weaknesses are, and you understand, the game's on the line. Don't get beat with your second, third, fourth best pitch. You get beat with your best pitch. And I see the game today. A lot of times they're trying to shy away from, especially college. College is horrible as far as shying away from competing and pitching and matching your strength against theirs. They're trying to miss the bat in college baseball. It's actually not a whole lot of. It's very frustrating for me to watch because they throw a million breaking balls. They always throw breaking balls to start guys off with, and very predictable. I mean, if I coach in college, and you could tell you this is what they're going to do. They're going to throw breaking balls usually for the most part first pitch, and if it's a ball, they're going to throw another one. And if it's 2-0, they throw a fastball, and then you get to waffle it. So I mean, it's just they pitch backwards, and they don't understand the whole competing part of baseball. Understand you got to start with your fastball first, and everything works off of it. Fastball command is what I see a lot of that's lacking in the big leagues today. Is those guys don't command their fastball near like they should, and that's a lot of the problems with all these home runs and stuff too.
Don't forget to hit the like button, everybody. It helps my channel, and it helps people to find this video later on replay. Mike says, describe the adrenaline rush you guys had from the crowds during the '95 World Series. Just how much does a team feed off the crowd?
Probably less so than any other sport. I think basketball makes you play better. Football, has a chance to do that, but baseball's it's got to be an emotionless game. Unfortunately, if you get too amped up, you try too hard, you try to throw too hard, you try to swing too hard, and what happens is you don't play. You don't get your best performances unless you're relaxed and under control and let the game come to you instead of trying to go out and do the game. It's a tough thing to do.
He's right. Nancy used to make fun of me because I used to pitch in softball way down low on the totem pole of what we're talking about here.
I'm glad you clarified that because it is way lower.
Way lower. I admit that. But Nancy used to make fun of me because I would be so serious and just kind of, be emotionless about the whole thing and not give in to the pitcher or a situation or the umpire or, I'd have my bad days where I would be upset with the umpire, but you have to, just listen to him. I'm agreeing with him is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Tom Schooley says hi.
That's a first.
I know.
You actually agree with me.
I know, and I did it in front of people. I know,
that's you.
So now it's
wow. That usually doesn't happen.
It's documented now.
She never agrees with me.
I totally agree with the dumb rule about the catcher not being able to block the plate. That's what Mike said.
He's right. Even in the double play situation. I mean, and it all happened because Buster. I mean, people don't do it the right way. Buster Posey's the rule is what happened, and he got his leg broke because he didn't get out of the way and we didn't have a play. So I mean, unfortunately, everyone else has to pay that price. But the way it goes. I mean, it's a different game. The pitching is different. The competition between the pitcher and that stuff. I mean, they just have to go 5 innings and get out of there. So I mean, I don't like the game. I don't like sabermetrics or cybermetrics or however they want to say that, but because you don't know what's in somebody's heart. You don't know how to, you don't know how well those guys are compete. They just throw something on paper and say, this is how we're going to do things. I think eventually it's going to go back the other way where it's going to have more, they're going to get more baseball related people in there because it's gone too far the other way.
Just to clarify, someone asked me who Mike was. Hi, Timothy Rainwaters. Thank you for joining the stream. This is Charlie O'Brien. We're talking about Major League Baseball, the World Series winning Braves team, just baseball in general. He used to play on several 8 teams. So we're just discussing, but thank you for coming in. Just to reiterate that Mike and Jen are the Our Theme Life channel, and Mike was supposed to join me tonight, but he and his son got sick last night after a wedding, and he's down and out. He's in the chat, but he couldn't make it on the stream, but he gave me questions that he wanted to do because he's a Braves super fan. He lives in Georgia. So that's to clarify, again, for those who missed the beginning, who Mike is. And Mike's in chat. So join his channel. It's an awesome channel. They have a little son named Dylan, and they do all sorts of fun stuff. Mark says hi. Mark McGuire? Charles says hi. Thanks, Nance. Leanne says he was older in a different grade than me. Even after he became famous, he always came back to the school and was personable.
You're talking about Johnny Ray, yeah. And that's just the way he is. He's a great dude. Good
you
guy.
Were like that.
Yeah, well, as you can tell, I'm still hanging out in there.
Yeah, he's still, hanging out. Hello, Our Theme Life. Hello. Charlie, did you ever have a home plate collision that really stood out to you for any reason or another?
Not one getting hit, because I had a reputation of if you didn't slide a home plate, I was going to hurt you. I mean, I tried to hurt you just like they tried to hurt me. So, I mean, I smoked a lot of guys. I tried to do it by sticking my glove and hammering it right under their chin so I could knock their helmet off and send them backwards. And I did that a bunch. I mean, if you slid, hey, I'd just tag in and be over with. But if you try to run me over, I was going to make sure you're going to limp back or do something. You weren't going to be in your total state of mind when you got back to your duck. That was my goal. And people knew that. And so after a while, you say, you smoke enough of them, then people are like, okay, I'm just going to slide. And so that helped a bunch.
If the right opportunity came along, would you consider coaching at all, or if you haven't already coached?
Well, I mean, I coached in high school. I coached at Bishop Kelly for, 6 or 7 years. And I coached summer league ball for high school kids and stuff, and travel ball up there for the Midwest Nationals out of Springfield, Illinois, or Springfield, Missouri, and did that kind of stuff. And I got a chance to actually, when I got released by Montreal, they asked me to be their bullpen coach that year. Just go from playing the bullpen coach, and I just wanted to go home at that time. And then they asked me next year to do the same thing, and then next year they wanted me to, coach a AAA team and then a AA team, and I'd played baseball 19 years professionally, and it was a time for me to go home and be a dad. I've been gone so long; it takes a ton out of your family time. So I just thought I was better off. My kids were starting to get the age where they're playing baseball, so I thought it was better for me to spend my time at home, and I don't regret one minute of it, because it was a good ride for me to get a chance to watch those kids grow and become better players, and both of them got a chance to play professionally, and injuries hurt one and the mind might have hurt the other. So but at least they got a chance. That's all you can ask kids to do is give it their all, and if it's not for them, it's not for them. It's a tough grind. People have no idea what it's like to go out there and play every day for 162 games and go through the grind. Your family takes it's tough on your family, and you have to have a good wife to watch over your kids while you're gone. And I was fortunate to have one of those. So it's tough, and it's tough for a lot of different respects. People see, well, they make all this money, but money can only make you happy for so long, and you want to leave there with a lot of friends and a good family home, and unfortunately, I've got all that here in Tulsa, so it's good.
And you did go to spring training a couple of times and coach, or what were you doing? You were helping players.
No, I wasn't. Never. I didn't. Never did that.
Yeah, in Arizona.
No.
Or in Florida.
No. I went to do.
You went to go watch?
No, I went to do fantasy camps. I played fantasy camp with these guys, and no.
Same thing.
No. Well, you had to help non-players. What you had to do.
I forgot. You're right.
You're right.
Okay. Charlie had the old school gritty player mentality that I wish was more prevalent in today's game.
Yeah, it's not like that. There are a few, but you can see them. They stand out. Yachty's one of those guys that you like to watch, and Trout from Anaheim goes about the game the right way. I mean, I love to see guys play 100% all the time, because that's what you should do. I mean, they're paying you so much money to go out there, just play it and play it right and give everything. To me, there's nothing worse than watching a guy hit a ground ball short and jog at first. I hate it, and it all starts with the manager. If he doesn't make you guys run, then that's their fault.
Yeah.
So I miss those kind of guys too.
Okay, now we come to Charles after he retired from baseball, and Mike says he read that you're an avid deer hunter.
Oh yeah, that's just as much as baseball. I mean, I love growing big deer, and that's what I do. I've got 1,000 acres in actually 1,200 acres in about 30 miles from Tulsa, and I go out there 7 days a week, and I've got breeding facilities, and it's a high fence place, and we kill great big deer every year, and be able to grow them and get the experience of people coming killing deer of a lifetime and seeing their eyes and their face. It's a lot like me probably hitting a home run in the World Series. I mean, you can't replace that. It is. It's a lot. It's in a huge adrenaline rush, and seeing these guys just shaking after they've done it. It's cool. And talking about it, you've just experienced something that they want to do all their life, and to be there with them. I mean, it's a blast for me as far as going there and being there with them.
Yeah, but you
Mary
also
doesn't believe in hunting, by the way. She hates it.
No, what he is saying to you about getting cool to go kill the big one, I'm the opposite, going, please don't go out and kill Bambi. And he doesn't kill Bambi, he kills Bambi's boyfriend.
No, Bambi's dad.
Bambi's dad.
Yeah.
But
there's a big difference.
I like going out there to look at them, but I wouldn't want to kill one. I'm just not a hunter. I'm just not a hunter. But anyway.
I'm just reading a question from Coach Begnell.
Oh, I know. So
he is by far. He wanted to know who is the best worker other than families out there. Brian Begnell is, and he is by far the best. What do you call him? Swing man or something. He swings the deer forward, and we giving him shots and those kind of things. And he is by far the best worker I have. It's on payroll. He gets paid too much, but.
You actually work out there, Brian? Now?
Yes, he's retired. He didn't do.
I know you're retired from Kelly, but now you work at the ranch.
He makes the big bucks.
I'm glad you have help.
He makes the big bucks now.
Oh,
he's been out there twice since he's retired.
Oh. Well, Charles used to be on a show called Deer Thugs. What was that on? DirecTV?
No, it was on Outdoor Channel or the Pursuit Channel.
It was on some sort of satellite one.
It was on a hunting channel. The people have been hunting, they know. I've done those.
Yeah, you hunters out there, I'm sure you love this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been an avid deer hunter for as long as I can remember. So don't even look at Begnell. He lies so much.
What did he say? I get paid nothing. You don't pay Brian anything?
Yes, he gets the big bucks.
Thank you for helping Charles, though. I think he needs to find somebody to help him. I do not go deer hunting. I like to go look at the deer and look at the cows and look at the goats and
goats. Where do you come? She's very uninformed, but if you can't tell.
A goat? No. A horse. He has a horse.
No, I don't have a horse anymore. I just got. Oh. I got about 100 cows and a cow calf deal is what we do, and then we do the hunts.
I fed one.
Yeah, we bottle feed one if something happens to the mom. So it's a fun time. I'm telling you, deer hunting is been a blast for me. So, the thing about it, you work 7 days a week, and you got to get up there when the weather's bad and feed the cows. So, but it's all enjoyable. It's a ranch life, and people that have done it know what I'm talking about, and the people who haven't done it, you don't want to do it. It's kind of tough.
You work hard.
Yeah, it's some good hard work, but you're not in an office, and it makes a huge difference. I would never make it in an office like Mary sitting there doing accounting work. Boy, I was a very good accounting student, but I don't like to do the work. So
I'd kind of like to switch places with you for a couple of days.
No, well, I don't want to switch. I'm happy where I'm at.
Okay. So Mike says, very cool. I've never actually I hunted deer before, but the way Charlie describes it makes me want to do it even more.
It is fun.
Sorry, Mary Ellen, he says. Well, Mike, if you ever make it out this way, I will take you out there.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Mary goes deer hunting. No, Katie, I don't. And the questions, Katie was asking me where I'm getting the questions. Mike texts me to me. I don't have them listed
Katie
somewhere for you to
understands that Mary
see.
would not ask those kind of questions. So thank you, Katie.
That's why I asked Mike. I wanted to hear.
Mike is they're very good questions, Mike.
I wanted a guy. I mean, he's a super fan.
Thank God
the
you
Braves.
sent him in, because this would have been a fiasco otherwise.
Well, that's why I was like, please send me some questions. Brian says he gets paid nothing.
He lies, though. If you ever know Brian, he's a liar.
Katie says it's being able to receive Charlie's wisdom. Oh, Lisa, see, she gets it. She said, go Mary. She put a cow and a pig. You don't have pigs, do you? No. But he has
cows and horses.
And
did have horses.
You have Ellie's chickens, don't you?
No, Ellie gets her own chickens. Ellie's got everything. Ellie's the one. Ellie is my granddaughter who does my deer feeding. If I have a deer that something happened to the mom or died, and we got to bottle feed the does and stuff, the fawns, I bring them over to my daughter's Alicia's house, and my granddaughter feeds them. So she's very good. She loves the animals. She's got chickens and dogs, and we took a donkey over there.
Oh,
yeah, she loves the animals.
That's cute. And then she sells the eggs, right?
Yes, Ellie's eggs, very popular in the Tulsa, St. Pius community, actually.
Yeah. Mike.
She doesn't ever fulfill the orders, but she gets a lot of orders, but she doesn't ever get to all of them.
Oh, too really? She's got that many?
Yes.
Wow.
Back order for Ellie.
She does have to go to school.
Yes, but she'd much rather do the eggs, I think.
I'm sure she would. How old's Ellie now?
She's 8.
8. Mike says, thank you, Charlie. He said, you guys have been awesome. Thanks, Mike. And thank you so much for the questions. Please subscribe to Our Theme Life. They do some fun live streams and podcasts and all sorts of stuff. They're kind of on hiatus off and on because they are living life just like we all should and shouldn't be, stuck in YouTube world because it can wear on you.
Going to weddings, you mean?
Well, Mike,
yeah.
Mike got a virus. It's not from
Mike, don't lie.
Partying at the wedding.
Partying hardy at the weddings, man. Good Catholic weddings. We know what those are like.
Thanks, Jake or Tom. We're wrapping it up anyway. If there aren't any more questions, it's been an hour, so I will now let poor Charles have a rest. And don't forget to go to Charles's website and get his book. It will be a signed copy because it's his website, and you can get it for Christmas presents or birthday presents or whatever you are going to do. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Liam. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Nance. Love you too.
I love you too, Nance. Always have since I was a little kid too.
Aw. Heart. So
take care of Tom, please.
She will. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream, and maybe we'll do this another time and do a different theme, but that's in. Mike said, Charlie, I know your son Chris played professionally. When did you realize he was going to be a special player?
Who's that from?
Mike, Our Theme Life.
I don't know about special player. I mean, they both could play. I mean, Chris had a great junior year in college, and talent-wise, he definitely could have played there in the big leagues. It's just one of those deals that, he tore his labrum and caused him to miss almost a year and a half, and it just kind of set him behind. And then he got hurt again. So it's just injuries. I was fortunate enough never to have that, and that's a lot of it, just being lucky. I was lucky. He's unlucky. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So.
Sooner Girl, Leanne said Our Theme Life will be there in person the next time you do this live. He'll be here in person, and he'll be going out to hunt deer.
Yes,
I can see it now.
That's way better than doing this.
We'll go out to the ranch, although I can't get a signal out there, but we could do a vlog of Mike hunting deer. That would be a great vlog,
that
Mike.
would be interesting.
Jen and I will go into the ranch house, and we'll get a drink while you guys go out and hunt deer. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so I'm going to end it now. So remember, if you have the choice, choose kindness.